the 7th straight year, the world's elite archers have journeyed to Antalya, Turkey. Known as the Turkish Riviera, it's one of the most scenic spots on the planet. But the only sightseeing these sharpshooters have done all week has been on the field, where some scale the mountaintops of this sport, setting world records, or upsetting one of the towering figures in the field of star-studded shooters. History has been made in this cradle of civilization, and the best is yet to come here at Stage 2 of the Archery World Cup in an amazing setting.
Here we are in Antalya, in the venue for finals, which, as usually happens in Antalya, is coming to the beach. The challenge here on the beach for us is to put the elements we need on the venue for finals on an area that is prepared for tourists. It's not for a sport competition venue. One of the challenges that the archers will have in this venue is to manage the wind. As we go close to the sea, we have the wind normally coming from the sea and moving uphill to the mountain. So it's a wind that is not usually in a line, it's having some kind of circulation or some kind of moving up and down. The second challenge is the light. As we are on the beach and this time of the year, sun can come and go. We have cloudy venues in the morning and it's a bit dark, and then suddenly it's open, and in half an hour we have a very sunny venue.
The sun was certainly shining for the women's compound gold medal match, which pit Russia's Albina Loganova, a former World Cup gold medalist who is currently ranked second in the world standings, against the newcomer from Germany, Christina Berger, who is a fascinating story in her own right. It was only 2 years ago that Christina picked up a bow and arrow. Until then, she'd been shooting pistols on Germany's national team. But here she is in her first season of international competition at her first World Cup event, and she's in the finals against one of the top archers on the planet. Ms. Berger won the first end, but missed the target with her 5th shot, and now trails Ms. Loganova by 7 points with only 3 arrows left to go. What's impressive is Christina's composure. After making that mistake early in the match, she kept her poise, calmed her nerves, and shot very well the rest of the way. Of course, so did the more experienced Albina Loganova, who knows how to take advantage of an opportunity like that when it's presented to her. And here in Antalya, it was. She begins the 5th end with a bullseye, keeping the pressure on Christina Berger, who responds with a 9 to remain within 9 points of Albina. But Albina is relentless, continuing to find the center of the target as she closes in on the gold medal. Ms. Berger finished her day with a bullseye, allowing her to end the match on a high note. But this day belonged to Albina Loganova of Russia. She closes out the match with 3 straight shots in the center ring, 3 consecutive bullseyes. So after settling for a pair of silver medals at Stage 1 in Shanghai just a few weeks before, second-ranked Albina Loganova improves on that performance with a 9-point gold medal victory here in Antalya, as Christina Berger takes home a silver medal in her first World Cup competition.
This
was my first World Cup gold medal this season. After finishing in 2nd place in Shanghai, of course, I wanted to finish in 1st place. So, I'm happy. So after the smoke clears at Stage 2 in Antalya, here's a look at the current updated World Cup standings in the compound women's competition. Marcella Tonioli was on top after her gold medal performance in China, but now trails Albina Loganova by 3 points after Stage 2 in Turkey. Time to recap the compound bronze medal match for the men. The Frenchman, 43-year-old Dominique Genet, captured a gold medal here in Antalya back in 2009, but this week was defeated by Braden Galantine of the United States in the semis and finds himself battling for the bronze medal with Germany's Paul Titscher. Both have scored 113 out of a possible 120 points after the first 12 arrows. So, Titscher, who eliminated Sergio Pagni and then lost by only 2 points to Reno Wild in the semifinals, has an excellent chance to medal. With the wind picking up, Genet gets off to a strong start in the 5th end, putting the pressure squarely on the shoulders of Paul Titscher, who won his only World Cup medal 3 years ago in Croatia. Titscher right on target, and the match is still tied with 2 arrows to go. Genet, of course, won a bronze medal just a few weeks ago in Shanghai, defeating his teammate Pierre-Julien Deloche. And here in Turkey, he's locked in on the target and puts his second arrow in almost the same spot. The pressure shifts back to the young German, who finished 8th in Shanghai. His second shot leaves him 1 point behind with only 1 arrow to go. The door is open for Genet, who can nail down the victory, which he does, closing out the match with yet another bullseye. All Titcher can do, well, is his best, and the bullseye on his final shot makes the final score very respectable. But at the end of the day, this is a bottom-line business, and Dominique Genet had 1 more point on his bottom line at the end of the match, giving this Frenchman his second bronze medal on this year's Archery World Cup tour. The final score in the compound men's bronze medal match here on the beach in Antalya, Dominique Genet 143, Paul Titcher 142. Now it's the main event, the compound men's gold medal match, an all-American affair featuring the second-ranked Rio Wilde, who won his quarterfinal match by 2 points and then defeated Paul Titcher by just 2 points. Rio's goal coming to Turkey to take home 3 gold medals. And his quest begins with this match against the 4th-ranked Braden Gelantine, who shot his way into the finals with a 6-point win over Genet in the semis. We'll pick up the action late in the match with Rio taking a 4-point lead into the 5th and what could be final end. Gelantine, a 2-time gold medalist here in Turkey last season, starts off the 5th end with a near-perfect shot. But he'll need some help from Rio Wilde to get back into contention. Rio obliges with a 9, dropping the lead down to 3 with 2 arrows left in the quiver. Gelantine, who fell in the quarterfinals at stage 1 in Shanghai, keeps his faint hopes alive with another bullseye. But the man who's become the most dominant compound archer in the world, the man who defeated Julio Ricardo Fierro of Mexico by 9 points in China,
9,
puts his next
8,
shot
7.
in the center
There you
ring,
go, nice shot.
essentially dashing all hopes of a dramatic comeback for Braden. Nonetheless, this highly competitive American gives his best effort and finishes with 3 consecutive bullseyes, walking off knowing
10,
all Rio
9,
needs is an 8
8.
to win. Wilde wouldn't be satisfied with that. He goes for the gold, and he gets it once again. Never easy having to go up against a fellow countryman in head-to-head competition, but that was the assignment here at Stage 2, where Rio Wilde continues to stockpile gold medals.
It is tough because, you hate to root against anybody or feel like whatever. And I had a friend one time tell me the best thing is for the next 15 minutes we're not friends. And so, but it is tough. It's, I love the camaraderie because, to shoot against the best is always how I feel. He's one of the best ones out here, so it's a good match at all times.
With Stage 2 in the books now, Rio Wilde increases his lead in the World Cup rankings. He now has a 14-point advantage over Dominique Genet of France and a 16-point edge over U.S. teammate Braden Gelantine.
What is in your mind during the entire shot? Pretty much aiming.
I think that I just don't try and think, actually.
How do you prepare and pack your stuff?
Généralement, c'est au dernier moment.
How do you manage with jet lag? It's tough. The first couple trips, it kind of kicks your butt a little bit.
I've been blessed with the ability to sleep pretty much anywhere, on anything.
If you win the World Cup or the Olympics, what do you do with the money you win?
Right now, I'm using it mostly to pay off some student loans I have.
We actually put it towards buying our house.
To buy some electronics?
How do I shoot? It's easy. You knock an arrow.
I usually hold my bow in my holster right here.
Keep extending through the shot till it goes off and follow through.
And then you go, woo, if it's a 10, and if it's not, then you go, shoot the next shot.
Who is your best friend on the tour?
Archers, we're kind of a friendly group of people.
I have a lot of good friends.
How many arrows do you shoot per week or month?
Hard to say. I probably shoot on average about 200 arrows a day.
Oh, well, that depends. Sometimes I don't shoot any. No, I'm just joking.
Je suis à peu près 250 flèches par jour.
The first time I really remember shooting,
Is definitely not an excellent one.
I think the best bit of advice that I've ever received is just to worry about myself.
One of the funniest things I ever heard was if you don't miss, you can't lose.
That's awesome.
The Korean women rarely lose, and they brought high expectations with them into the recurve women's team gold medal match at Stage 2 in Antalya. Ki Bo-bae, Lee Sung-jin, and Choi Hyeon-ju combining their talents together on this day to face the challenge posed by the trio from Chinese Taipei. Tanya Ting, Lei Xian-ying, and Lin Sha-en hoping to stage a major upset of the Koreans. Chinese Taipei actually took a 2-point lead after the first end, then fell behind by 1 point midway through the match and trailed by 3 points heading into the fourth end. As the clouds begin building offshore here along the Mediterranean, we'll pick up the action midway through the fourth end, with the archers from Chinese Taipei only trailing by 2 points. Tanya Ting trying to keep the momentum going, and she does with a 9. She passes the torch to teammate Lei Xian-ying, who also fires a 9. Now it's Lin Sha-en, who just the day before had scored a surprising upset in the bronze medal match, defeating China's Zhu Jing, her shot just outside the 10 ring. So essentially, all Korea needs is 26 points on their final 3 shots to secure the gold medal. Lee Sung-jin, making a personal comeback after shoulder surgery sidelined her in 2007, puts up 9 more points for her team. Ms. Choi does the same. So it all comes down to Ki Bo-bae, who needs a 7 to tie, 8 or better to win. She's already picked up 2 gold medals at Stage 1 in Shanghai, and she collects her 3rd World Cup gold medal of 2012 as she finishes the match with a 9. More than enough to hand the victory to Korea. This tremendously talented trio, Ki Bo-bae, Lee Sung-jin, and Choi Hyeon-ju, fending off all comers this week in Turkey, defeating Spain, Russia, Mexico, and now Chinese Taipei, en route to the winner's circle in Antalya. The silver goes to Chinese Taipei and the bronze to the People's Republic of China. We are familiar with this type of situation. Sometimes we do make mistakes during a match, but we don't get embarrassed about that. We just try to regain our balance. Today, we were able to do that in this competition. After the Korean women secured their gold medals, it was time to see if the Korean men could do the same in the bronze medal match against the men from France. The Koreans did not expect to be competing for bronze, but they were upset by the Indian squad by 1 point in the semifinals, and so now the best they can hope for is the bronze medal. After 18 arrows, the French, who were tied after the first end, are now trailing by 2 points going into what could be the final end. Miraculously, the French find a way to tie the match at 196 all midway through the fourth end. We'll pick it up there with Gaël Prévost, who scored a bullseye on his first shot of this end.
Solide.
But settles for a 9 with this shot. Thomas Faucheron can do no better. So now it is left to Romain Girouille to try and come up with a 10 to put some added pressure on his Korean competitors.
10. Et on reste dessus. 5.
But it's hardly the result that he was looking for. So the Koreans are presented with a golden opportunity, an opportunity they usually take advantage of. Im Dong-hyun, already considered one of the top recurve archers in the world before setting a new world record during the qualifying rounds, hits the center of the target. Kim Bubeman, who'd lost his shot at a medal the day before, follows up with a solid shot right here. So Oh Jin-yek steps up to the line, knowing he needs a 7 to tie and 8 or better to win. 10 is better, much better. So on this day, the Korean men were indeed the better team. They recover from being upset the day before by India to win the bronze medal here at stage 2, defeating the French trio by the final score of 225 to 222. Once again, Korea by 3 over France, 225 to 222. Now, by virtue of that upset over the Koreans, the team from India finds itself competing for the gold medal in the recurve men's team competition. From left to right, it's Rahul Banerjee, Tarundeep Rai, and Jayanta Talukdar. Those three had also defeated teams from Mexico and the Netherlands to reach this gold medal match, where they would face a very experienced team of shooters from Great Britain. Alan Wills on the left, Simon Terry in the middle, and Lawrence Godfrey waving to the crowd on the right. All possibly bound for the Olympic Games in London in August. But their first order of business, striking gold here in Antalya. And after the first 3 ends, it appears these gents from the UK have this match well in hand, leading by 8 points with just 6 arrows to shoot. Picking it up midway through the final end, and the 26-year-old Talukdar, ranked 17th in the world, still with hopes of picking up his 17th World Cup medal, surprisingly shoots a 7. That puts more pressure on Tarundeep Rai, who represented India at the Summer Games in Athens back in 2004. On this day, he's India's most consistent shooter and proves it with a bullseye on his final attempt. Rahul Banerjee won a team gold medal 2 years ago in Antalya, but he knows that despite this final shot, India's chances of getting the gold are slim at best. Simon Terry, who won a pair of bronze medals at the Olympics in Barcelona 20 years ago and then took a 10-year hiatus, is back and focused as ever. He sets the table for teammate Alan Wills, who clinches the match with a bullseye. So now it's a question of not who wins the match, it's just the margin of victory that's left to be decided. And Lawrence Godfrey finishes up in grand style for Great Britain. The 38-year-old Simon Terry, the 36-year-old Lawrence Godfrey, just as happy about winning the gold as their younger teammate Alan Wills, whose last World Cup medal, by the way, came 3 years ago in 2009. Great Britain gets the gold while India settles for the silver. It's been a big week for the men from Great Britain, who won a shoot-off with Malaysia, edged the Italians by 1 point, and forced out the French to reach the gold medal match. The final tally in this final match here in Antalya at stage 2, it's England 222 and India 211.
I was a bit tricky and it was kind of disorientating a little bit. When you're standing on the line, you don't feel anything on your body. So you're thinking, just trust what Simon says, aim in the red, blue, arrow come over, 9s and 10s. So yeah, I think that's what maybe rattled the Indians a little bit, because we started off with a 58 or 57 to start in the wind and took control of the match. So.
Back to the individual competition and a very intriguing matchup in the women's recurve gold medal match. Don't let the World Cup ranking fool you. Lee Sung-jin of Korea was #1 in the world back in 2006 and a 2-time medalist at the Summer Games in Athens. Then she hurt her shoulder, had surgery, and has been battling back to regain her spot on the national team ever since. The woman she's facing in the finals has a story that's just as compelling. 17-year-old Deepika Kumari comes from a working-class family in India, began shooting with bamboo bows and arrows, and then entered an academy in 2005 that pointed her on this path to the finals in Antalya. She comes into this match ranked 6th in the world. These two great archers have gone back and forth throughout the match, and now heading into the fifth set, they're tied at 4 points apiece. If they tie in this set, we're headed to a shoot-off. Kumari shoots first in the fifth set, and it's on the line, so she picks up 10 points. But the 27-year-old Korean, a two-time world champion, aware of the fact she needs to keep pace, shoots a 9 that leaves her trailing with only 2 shots to go. On her next shot, Kumari is close, but not quite close enough for her liking. That opens the door for Lee Sung-jin, who defeated Tang Ya-ting and won a shoot-off with Zhu Jing to reach this gold medal match. At the very least, she'd like to get to a shoot-off in this showdown, and after that bullseye, her chances look good. On the other hand, Ms. Kumari cannot come up with the clutch shot she was hoping for. Her chances don't look good. The Koreans known for their clutch shooting, but on this day, at this particular moment, the top-seeded woman in this tournament falters on her last shot and falls short of her goal. It's a gift from the gods for Deepika Kumari, who has medaled many times in World Cup competition, but has never taken home the gold. That all changed, though, in the blink of an eye, as Deepika Kumari was the most consistent shooter when it counted the most. She takes the fifth set and takes the match. I'm really happy. I finally won a gold medal. I've only been able to win silver medals, so today I'm very happy. Let's update the World Cup standings in the individual women's recurve competition. Kibobe was number 1 in the rankings after winning stage 1 in Shanghai. Deepika Kumari was in 8th place with just 10 points, but this victory here in Antalya has vaulted the Indian archer into the top spot, with 3 Korean archers all within striking distance. Finally now, the highlights from the men's individual recurve competition, where Korea is once again well represented by Im Dong-hyun. He's currently ranked 5th in the world, but bear in mind a year ago he was at one point number 1. His path to the finals included victories over Victor Ruban and a shoot-off with teammate Kim Woo-jin. Many expected to see America's Brady Ellison in the gold medal match here in Turkey, but he was taken out in one of the first rounds by Markian Ivashko of the Ukraine. He used that victory to catapult himself onto the big stage at this event. Okay, let's set the scene. Ivashko was trailing 5-1 after 3 sets, but the Koreans' lead was cut to just 2 points going to the 5th set. Should Ivashko win this set and complete the comeback, he would force a shoot-off. He still had a chance. Ivashko starts off strong with a bullseye, and his hopes are raised when Im appears to succumb to the pressure, answering with just a 9 himself. The Ukrainian trying to up the ante. Which he does with another 10, electrifying the crowd that's sensing a shoot-off. The chances of that happening look even better when Im shoots another 9, and now trails by 2 points in this critical point in the match. But Markian Ivashko, needing no less than a 9 to force the shoot-off. Cannot come up with the shot he must have when he needs it the most. That 8 would prove costly, creating the chance Im needs to nail down the victory. Shoot a 10, and he picks up the 1 point he has to have to win the match, and that's exactly what happened. After coming away from stage 1 empty-handed, after setting a new world record of 6.96 in qualifications here in Turkey, Im Dong-hyun quite possibly snatches victory from the jaws of defeat, winning his first World Cup medal since 2010 at stage 4 in Shanghai. But for Markian Ivashko of the Ukraine, the silver medal is a bitter pill to swallow, and he leaves the field wondering what might have been had his final shot landed a half inch to the left inside the 9 ring. I knew I had to shoot a 10 to get into the shoot-off, so I just tried to enjoy the situation. I stayed focused. My plan was to get to the highest score possible, and I'm happy it turned out that way. Well, now that all is said and done, here's how the rankings look after the first 2 stages of this year's Archery World Cup. America's Brady Ellison was on top after winning stage 1 in Shanghai, but with this victory in Turkey, Korea's Im Dong-hyun has leaped ahead of Ellison and Dmitro Rachov in what's shaping up as a very close race. Ivashko still in the picture in 5th place. Well, that's a wrap from Antalya. The next stop, Stage 3 at Ogden, Utah in the U.S. We hope to see you at Lindquist Field, where once again the world's top archers will compete in the 2012 Archery World Cup.